And a very special thank you to our Patreon subscribers.
Do you see any pointy hats in here? Any green skin? Any brooms? No, sir.
Well, I am not saying that I want to join the club or anything, but I would drink the blood of a virgin if it would smooth out some of these wrinkles.
Oh my God!
Oh, God.
Oh, you are so sweet. I don't really think I need it either.
Okay, so, Mrs. Hart?
Sharon.
Hello and welcome back to Horrific Heroes. Steve and Rob.
And Robert.
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 Here with you for another recap review discussion of Agatha All Along. Missed a week, so we're combining episodes 3 and 4 this weekend, which gives us a lot to talk about for this one.
Very much.
These spoiler alert, we saw episode 5, but we're gonna backtrack a little bit. But 3 and 4 comparatively, right? We're spending time with our characters. We're seeing some fun stuff as they walk the witch's road. Let's start off with episode 3. This is Through Many Miles of Tricks and Trials. And tricks and trials there were. So you're seeing sort of the structure of the witch's road, where each of the witches, each of the members of the coven, receives their own individual trial that they all have to figure out together, but it all seems to be focused around their own demise, their own desires, their own weaknesses, the things that they need to learn and overcome to get to the end of the road. So it's a really interesting sort of setup here, right? Because not only does it challenge them on an individual level, but it's this sort of cool, like, they're really testing sort of the strength of the coven as a whole with these trials. And the fact that they don't really know, and they know each other, but they don't really have...
They don't trust each other for sure.
They don't trust each other. They just got together. It's not a well-formed coven.
No.
I mean, Agatha's just grabbing Sharon down the road. There's not a lot of planning in this. It was really born out of Agatha's desperation.
Yeah.
So the structure of this episode focuses on a modern-day beach house on the Witch's Road. And this test is for our healing or our potions witch.
The potions witch, yeah.
Jen, our potions witch. So just general thoughts. What did you think of this of episode 3?
I thought it was good. The first trial, it was a good introduction to the trials, but it was also a neat little twist on what we had with WandaVision, where every week was a new TV show. We're kind of getting that same format in a different way, where it's like each trial is something slightly different, and they get to change outfits and everything. So it gives everybody a chance to look a little different each week, just like they did with WandaVision previously. So that makes it a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's not really like a shall we say, like a genre switch up. Although kind of a little bit.
A little bit.
As we sort of can compare these next few episodes together, it is sort of these cliche representations, I think, of their character flaws, right?
Yeah.
So if we're looking at Jen, our potions witch, she's sort of relegated to being this sort of Gwyneth Paltrow goop kind of figure.
Well, and it's kind of the people who buy her products are the people who would live in a house like this, So yeah. It's like her what she, it's kind of like the reaping what you sow kind of in this instance, is just because this is the kind of stuff she's been doing, this kind of fake beauty products and stuff is coming back to bite her in the butt in a way. So
yeah, absolutely. And so it's so funny, right? Because it made me think of my husband and I watch Desperate Housewives. We don't watch The Real Housewives.
I've seen that too.
Very similar, right? But like this very super polished suburban kind of life. that they sort of walk into, and like the challenge is to drink wine, which I think is very
Yeah,
funny.
yeah,
Which is sort of the typical setup for one of those Real Housewives shows where they just get them drunk and make them
right.
fight, right?
Yeah,
Man, but also it's funny because interesting to see like where this episode takes Sharon, right? Because then Sharon, as a character, even though she's not like properly a witch for this coven,
right.
sort of relegated herself to like this kind of housewife role, right?
Right.
Where but more almost in a sad way, right? In the sense of like she had to play the housewife in Wanda's
Yeah.
house. And then after losing her husband, she sort of then kind of took on this like lonely house widow, this woman who's just sort of like alone in her house in this suburban life. So it works on several levels, I think, when you look at at least a couple of the
Yeah.
characters, right?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, no, I think it was, it definitely, Sharon was very at home in that situation. She seemed very much like,
Mm,
she was the kind of wife who kind of fit into that. She was very much the wine person, and, she's very happy to be in that setting. But yeah, it definitely came back to bite her in the butt,
yeah.
you know.
What she say? Bury me in that kitchen.
Yeah,
Which which
yeah,
will get us to the end of the episode, we'll see. But right, so
yeah.
we find out, right, so they, well, we do get a drop. I know people have been theorizing
Hmm.
Mephisto.
Yeah.
So we do get a name drop of Mephisto with Jen. I think Jen mentions him.
Yeah, Jen mentions it to Teen when
Yeah,
they're talking. Yeah.
right, right,
she
right.
she goes off to go talk to him, and just she's trying to warn him against Agatha, and she's just like, Agatha's not somebody to trust. And he
Hmm.
goes, you guys all got her wrong and everything. He's defending her, and but she tells him about how she sold her child to, Mephisto for power.
Yeah.
So
Really, yeah, really. So we get a little bit of lore dropped in there about Nicholas. So kind of giving us some answers from the earlier episodes of
right.
we saw obviously the rabbit from WandaVision was Nicholas, was Scratchy,
Yeah.
um or Senior Scratchy, and then we have the trophy with the also
Yeah.
the statue of the rabbit. So we're slowly starting to peel back those
Yeah.
layers of Agatha's past. And so sort of as the group sort of, this is almost, it's funny enough, is like as they're sort of drinking the wine, they are sort of starting to talk to each other, and there's a little bit of
Yeah.
trust forming,
Right.
in a way, almost in a Real Housewives setup.
Right. Well,
But
and the trust is forming amongst the rest of the group, not so much with Agatha.
no, they don't
Like,
trust. I mean, they're almost bonding
despite,
over the
yeah,
distrust.
they're just, yeah, exactly. So the rest of them are all still bonding, including Teen. He's kind of bonding with everybody, even though he's still kind of on Agatha's side, which is just baffling because she does everything in her power to just be mean and cruel to him. So it's just, yeah, it's weird. But
Yeah.
yeah, no, everybody else is having these nice bonding moments. So
And then we get our little switch for Sharon, is our first to be
yes,
affected by the wine, which
right, because
is
she was the first one to drink.
the first one
So
to drink, which I don't blame her. They've been through a lot already. And her face blows up, and it was funny
yeah,
because then it sort of looks like exaggerated Botox at that point.
yeah, very exaggerated plastic surgery. Yeah,
Yeah, which I know we've seen the videos, behind the scene videos of them cracking up
yes,
with the prosthetics on their face. It just looks so much fun, like just old school
yeah,
fun, like Hollywood makeup with that stuff.
yeah,
Obviously, the actors were having a blast with it. It was very funny. And now, so Jen's test here is now to figure out an antidote.
right,
And so that sort of gets us into first they start to kind of throw. I think Agatha's like, just make her drink the rest of it. I think they
right.
were like,
Well,
Agatha's trying
because
to throw
Agatha
people.
tried not to drink it.
Yeah.
She was being sneaky and hadn't drank any. And but everybody had to drink it to get poisoned so that they could all pass the trial. Because if they didn't, then
And was
they
it Teen
wouldn't be
that
able to
pointed out
pass it.
she didn't drink?
Yes, yeah, it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
So as much as he's on her side, he throws her under the bus a lot too.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
which I think right. That starts this. He is sort of poking the bear here,
hmm
and wants to get at Agatha a little bit. We can kind of start to tell that here.
right,
So yeah, he throws her under. I think that the wine sort of fills up on its own, right? Because she tries to throw
right,
it out, right? And then
yeah,
she's like, "Oh,
and then
no
it
more
fills up
wine."
on its own.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and it nope, refill. And yeah, so they have to kind of go in together. They have to sort of leap into the trial as one, and she does. And so she goes through the process because their swelling kind of goes away, and then she kind of has to go through it on her own
right.
until hers goes away. And then they find out, I don't know if it's written or whatever, that they're gonna die or whatever. There's a countdown timer.
There's been a countdown going on, a 30-minute countdown, and then they all realize that because they're poisoned, they need an antidote. And then that's when they're like, okay, well, Jen, what do we need? Because you're the potions witch. What do we need to to survive this? And she rattles off a list of the random things they need, and then they've got to split up to go find all the stuff that they need,
Yeah.
which gives everybody a chance to go their own separate ways, and then they all have these nice little hallucinations of the past.
Yeah, so this
Uh,
is like our horror for the episode
yeah,
is everyone kind of gets
yeah.
their own moments where we're sort of seeing like what's going on under the surface for each of them, right? We have Alice who sees her mother, or is it her mother or the mother's mother?
Um, Alice. Yeah, I'm not sure on
Now that
that
I'm
one.
thinking, right, is
Yeah, Alice is her mom. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
you're right because her mother
Alice was her
sets
mom.
herself on fire, or like she
Yeah,
lights the flame, right?
yeah,
And that's sort of her whole
yeah.
thing is right. So yeah, so her mom setting, going on fire.
Right.
And then we have it's Patty LaPone. I'm forgetting her name, but
Yeah.
Patty
Lilia.
Lilia
Yeah.
is sort of seeing this like reverend sort of figure. Is he sort of like a religious figure?
Yeah. Yeah. I couldn't quite get that. I mean,
Because she
it looks
sounds
like
Romani. She sounds
yeah, could be.
European, like there's some like
Yeah.
Romani European accent there.
Yeah, because we know she's like at least 400 something years old. So I mean, it's definitely got to be 1600s somewhere
Hmm.
around there,
I mean, we don't use the phrase gypsy anymore, but
No,
that's
no,
sort of
no, the
like
Romani.
the
Yeah.
Romani, but that's sort of what, yeah, that accent.
Yeah.
Um, so assuming, right, so there's some trauma there, right, and probably linking to what she's seeing, maybe in her visions.
Right.
There's some little, we're not getting these aren't like super clear, other than maybe like Alice's, and then we get,
Right. Exactly.
and then we have who else gets our visions?
Well, we get Jennifer's vision, which doesn't become clear until the next episode. But she is attacked by some doctor looking guy and is nearly drowned in the sink.
That's right.
So and then I think it's just Agatha's, and Agatha's was she was hers came later during the after they've all gathered all the stuff to make the potion, and they're just about to finish it, and she gets hers and hers is she hears crying and she sees a crib. She goes over to the crib, pulls back the blanket, and it's the Darkhold
Yeah.
and not her child. So
Mhm. I love this parallel now that we're getting with Agatha, very different from Wanda.
mm,
This
yeah,
very different motherhood stories here,
yeah,
where obviously we see Wanda, doing anything to get her children, and now Agatha potentially having sacrificed her son or is doing something that put him in danger in that way. We don't 100% know the full details yet, but
right.
very very similar journeys in sense of like getting back to their kids or something, right, uncovering it, but their sins are very different.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, it's definitely it's good to see the because Agatha really was kind of like outside of Wanda. Agatha was definitely the most compelling character from WandaVision. And I'm glad we're finally getting to see more of her
Mm-hmm.
subsequent journey to, and it's just fun because um Catherine Hahn is just fantastic. She's always fantastic. So yeah, it's definitely great getting to see her kind of flex into this character quite a bit. So
Yeah,
because
I
you
love
get to see, because it's not just that, she's playing evil, but she's also, you can see all this emotion run through her face like constantly, and it shifts so fast. She's really good at the face acting.
hmm
So, which is fantastic.
Well, the
Anybody who
best
can do
villains
that
are
kind
the
of
ones that
stuff
you
is,
can empathize with
yeah,
or understand, right? I
yeah,
mean,
absolutely.
they just take their pain a little too far, right? Hurt people, kind
Right.
of, and they just right, they just get a little too far. And
Yeah.
we wonder if they can reel it back. And I'm assuming we're gonna get a redemption arc here with Agatha, but we will
Right.
see. She's a delicious villain, but
Oh, definitely.
maybe we can get a little bit of an anti-hero situation. Not full
Oh, I'm
redemption. Um,
mm, the character is very complex in the comic books as well. She comes off as kind of um this person who's on the side of good in the beginning, and then you see some shifting of her story within the books and stuff. So it's
mhm.
definitely somebody who definitely has that shift in character throughout her history. So
Yeah, I mean, again,
I'm
very
sure
similar
we'll
to
be seeing
Wanda,
that in the comics.
right?
Yeah. No,
Wanda
absolutely.
starting good here in the MCU at least, having her villain moment in multiverse,
Yeah.
and
Well,
we'll see.
technically, Wanda started bad because she was originally a member of the Brotherhood of Evil
That is
Mutants.
true.
So,
That
and
is
then she
true.
became good. Then went evil. Yeah.
You're right. Well,
She likes to go back
well,
and
true. She
forth.
was a villain in the MCU as well, right? Her with
Yeah,
Quicksilver and Ultron,
that's
right? So
true. Yeah.
yeah, so you know
Very,
what? They are kind of following very
yeah.
similar bad good, which it's
Yeah.
fun. That's just fun.
Yeah.
When you can't trust the character but you love them anyway.
Right.
But yeah, so they're gathering all these ingredients, but they're finding it in like hand lotions and perfume, like all like different
Yeah.
household
Yeah.
stuff, which is fun. Um,
Right.
again, they're sort of knocking at Goop and all these other lifestyle products that sort of pop
Right.
in and just promise all these things. But anyway, they're throwing it in there. They got to get their hair, and
Yeah.
not to cut too fast, but they forget Sharon or Mrs.
Yeah.
Hart.
Yeah.
They forget her hair. So they all say themselves, timer runs out. They try to get her to drink it. You know, Funny enough, the escape is through the oven, which I think for witches
Oh,
that's
I love
terrible.
that. Well, and it's even funnier too because Lilia does mention that she's like, "Oh, I had a friend who died this way." So,
Yeah. So little Hansel and Gretel
yeah.
nod there, which is fantastic.
Oh, it was so good. Yeah.
So I love that. Just little things like that is really
Yeah.
cool in the writing. They all get out. Poor Sharon's dead, and then we get this delivery of
Yeah.
who's Sharon?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because, in all of this, Agatha still is, thinks she's Mrs.
Still
Hart,
calling her Miss Sart. Yeah.
doesn't care to learn that Sharon's her real name,
Yeah.
and, died not really knowing who she really was anyway.
No. Yeah, no, it was kind of a disappointment. Deborah Jo Rupp is a great actress and everything, but she had definitely
Mhm.
I don't think she was gonna be able to hang much longer on the Witch's Road anyway.
I
So
mean,
yeah.
she was not a witch, I
Yeah,
don't know. Yeah,
no.
that's the
I
thing
mean,
is, yeah,
ultimately it
realistically,
was Agatha's fault,
yeah.
so because Agatha roped her in because Agatha knew that the person that she needed was really Rio anyway. So
Right. Well, my theory by the end of by the end of this episode, if we were getting a full redemption arc with Agatha,
hmm
things may change in the show by the time you watch this episode. I don't know, but my theory was that she may use her wish to bring back whoever dies on the road.
Oh yeah, could be. Yeah.
Like someone's gonna get to the end of the road. They're gonna realize, oh, I don't really want this. I want to give Sharon another
Right.
chance at life, or I want to whatever, right? So this may
Right.
not be the end of Deborah Joe. I think,
Right. Yeah. Yeah,
but
no, and I think that's probably a good theory as to how she does have some kind of redemption for
mhm,
everything because she's going to realize along the way, cuz I'm sure she's not the last one who's going to die, and once we get to that point when she gets to the end, she may need them all back too.
mhm.
So,
Yeah.
you know
I hope
you never
Sharon
know
shows
what's
up
going to be
in
happening in these later episodes.
Yeah, I hope Sharon shows up in every because we have two other series in this little like mini verse of the MCU.
Yeah,
There's going to be Vision Quest and a
right.
recently announced Was it announced? Or like rumors is that
Not
they're
sure.
gonna do a fourth one.
Oh, I don't know. I hadn't heard that.
There was rumors of another unnamed character from WandaVision. There was again, this is also rumor mill. We could talk after the
Hmm.
episode. No spoilers
Yeah.
involved, but
I hadn't heard about that. Yeah.
but again, it's all rumors. That's
Yeah,
so.
yeah, yeah.
But we're at least getting Vision Quest, which would, if this is just remains a
Yeah.
trilogy spawning
Yeah.
from WandaVision, be cool if even if it's a one scene thing, we get
Yeah.
Sharon
Right.
popping up. Even if she's just sort
Yeah.
of like, what the hell, and like there's white vision flying around somewhere.
Right. Yeah.
Just a quick, he flies over Westview.
Yeah.
But yeah, so and that's where the episode ends.
Yeah.
For Sharon, and then yeah, I'm gonna roll the clip here because we're gonna go into episode 4.
The curse. I see it. I can see it. I can kill it.
And welcome back, and we are back on the same episode, just a little
Yeah.
quick break, talking episode 4. If I can't reach you, let my song teach you. Which this side of the of the road, or this part of the road, is going to be Alice's trial, just by the title alone being song oriented. We're addressing sort of the her mother's history
Right.
and the curse that she was bestowed on, or that was bestowed upon her. Where we leave off, Sharon's gone, and we need a replacement. We need an actual Green Witch.
Yes.
So they come up with the idea of summoning just any old random Green Witch. So they kind of bury her,
Right.
right? Oh, there was a line in there. Someone asked Agatha something, and she's like, "Oh, they're burying her. She's fine.
Yeah, yeah.
They're taking care of her."
Yeah.
Like, okay, she
Yeah.
couldn't care less. Like,
No, no. She cared nothing about
yeah.
Sharon whatsoever. So
And she was so happy to be there.
I
So,
know. She just wanted to be included.
yeah, and so they etch out sort of, a space, like body shaped space. They cast the spell, and Miss Rio Vidal is summoned, which is a little
Yes.
bit of a coinkydink. I think not. We don't know why exactly she ended up. Well, we know sort of there is a reason. I mean, was there a literal like mechanism to which why she was the one at that point? But it's certainly to mess with Agatha, right? Because there is
Oh
history.
yeah.
There is history
Ooh,
here.
deep, deep
Between
history
those
here.
two. And there's no like
Yeah.
real nod to who or hint as to who exactly she is, Rio, but
No.
not explicitly. But Marvel's really finally digging into some queerness here.
Yeah, no, it's like the first time too.
Like we had what's
That
his name? We had Faustus from Eternals,
yeah, yeah, yeah. No, that's true. That's true.
but that's really
Um,
about it.
yeah.
Um,
Yeah, it's rare that Disney's even allowing anything like this in any kind of stuff of theirs, anything explicit like this. But it's
mhm.
very explicit in this episode that Rio and Agatha have had a long-term relationship with each other that got tainted.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
so and that it went really bad.
Hmm.
So the longing looks and the sadness in both of their eyes and everything like that says a lot.
Yeah,
And
I
it's
mean, it really
again
wasn't
a
anything like,
testament to both of their
yeah.
acting abilities. So good.
Oh, I
So
believe
good.
them as a couple with history.
Yeah. Yeah,
Um,
definitely.
fantastic. Yeah, no, this is great. Now we're finally really getting to see Aubrey Plaza here, right? Because we had her in the first
Mhm.
episode, then she wasn't really around, and now she's
But
part
even
of
in
the
that
show.
first episode, like I can't remember if we talked about it, but I think we did a little bit. But yeah, there's a lot of that like tension, almost this like very like electric tension between them.
Hmm.
That they're like not just history, but very intimate history
I
between
mean, she
them, and so
licks
it's
her.
good. I mean, yeah, true,
She
but I
does
mean,
lick her. Yeah.
yeah, but but I mean, just like, getting that confirmation in this
Yeah.
episode was really good. It was really, I'm glad they paid it off, and it wasn't something that they were going to play off until the very end either. They were really playing into it. So
No, they're building this relationship and playing with that
yeah,
tension. Obviously, it's delivered very well here. Um, yeah, so we're getting some hints there, right? Again, some hints to Nicholas Scratch. No like explicit answers here. But yeah, and so they're kind of continuing their way. I think at this point they realize that no matter which way they turn, they're going to end up at a trial, right? This is sort of where it gets
yeah.
right. It's this
Yeah,
one.
because they start heading towards they start heading down the road, and they see a house in the distance, and as they're getting close to it, Alice turns around and goes past and starts walking away because she obviously recognizes the
She
building.
recognizes the building right away.
Yeah, but as soon as she turns around and they start chasing after her and going, "Hey, we gotta, we really got to do this," but as they continue to walk, what they think is backwards on the road, the house appears in front of them again. So the
Yeah.
the road doesn't let you get away with anything.
The
So
road,
once that's there, it's there.
I mean,
So
yeah, the title of the episode should have been "Never Gonna Give You Up." Uh,
right.
my dad joke for the episode. But yeah, and
Don't
so we get in, and yeah, so very 70s themed, very again leaning into this sort of former rock star. Like Alice's mom is very Stevie Nicks coded.
Yeah.
And just in general, I mean, obviously Stevie Nicks has been called the White Witch, like that's a whole thing, like music and
Yeah.
magic, and also, I mean, even down to the way that the trial is delivered too, right? We get this record that gets
They
played
have to play.
backwards.
Well, it starts playing backwards. Yeah.
It plays on.
Yeah.
Does it play on its own backwards, or they have
It
to?
played on its own backwards.
And they're trying to
Yeah.
figure out why, right? But they realize, oh,
Yeah.
it's because it's a hex or a curse.
Yeah. It's a curse. Yeah.
Which is again harkening back to all those conspiracy theories about gotta play
Right.
this record backwards.
Right.
It's the
Right.
devil talking to you, this, right? So really kind of playing with like real life conspiracy theories around
Right.
witchcraft and devil
Right.
worship and all that stuff, which is very
Well,
fun.
and also when they get inside this building, it's awesome because they all get in this like 70s garb and they all like wearing these 70s outfits. It's very like
Mhm.
this very kind of like you know, mid to late 70s kind of rock attire,
Yeah,
so
they look
it's
like
very
Fleetwood
fitting.
Mac. They look like the Partridge Family,
Right.
Brady Bunch ready to go
Yeah.
sing at a music competition.
Yeah. No,
Very
definitely,
fun.
definitely. Yeah, very fun.
I mean, also like referencing a lot of like the genres that Wanda played with too, right? Because we're talking,
Yeah.
we had Housewives, which again, eh, even though it was more modern, like I guess could sort of be very similar to like the 50s, 60s stuff that Wanda was
Yeah.
doing. We had the
Yeah,
70s,
definitely. This is the 70s.
and then in the
Yeah.
next episode, we know
Episode 5 is
is
the
going to be the
80s.
80s.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like we are sort of following similar, right?
Yeah.
Even if not
Which was
genres, at least
interesting. Yeah.
time periods we're following in order here. So
Right.
we'll see if that continues. But
Yeah.
3 in a row we're getting, so that's kind of cool.
Right.
But yeah, and so we get I'm trying to remember sort of the order. So we find out it's a curse, and we have to figure out how to break the curse. And they're all sort of getting
Right.
attacked in different sort of ways. What's
They're
interesting
they're
here,
starting to see kind of visions again. Yeah.
seeing visions. Interesting that I saw people point out that Teen was attacked, even though it almost seems very specifically about women being cursed. Um,
Yeah.
or at least that sort of was the idea, was that the women in Alice's family were cursed.
Well, wasn't he attacked? Like he wasn't attacked in the same way they were. I can't like it. I'm a little vague on it now, but
He was
like
thrown.
if
He was
yeah, but
thrown away.
it felt like
Yeah.
he was attacked because they were all attacked by like getting the curse thing on their shoulders and
Yes,
everything.
and they were
But
trapped in
he
place.
was
Yeah.
right. So it was almost like he was attacked for trying to he wasn't really attacked, he was prevented from helping.
Right. I guess
And he
he
just got
wasn't being
yeah.
cursed. He
Yeah.
was yeah.
It was a different kind of thing for him.
Right.
Like he got hurt really badly. He got a piece of glass in his stomach.
Mhm.
So
No, that's a good point. It was really more of like the curse was trying to protect itself
Yeah.
versus like it wasn't trying to curse him.
Right.
Yeah, I sort of love this idea of like them sort of being in their little protection circles. And I forget her name.
Right.
Jen was in her circle, and she was like,
and
"Okay, you're just
and
gonna stay
then,
over
well, they
there."
all wanted to go do stuff. They were all trying to go do stuff, and Jen wasn't moving. And Agatha's like, "You're really gonna stand there in your circle?" And she's like, "Yeah."
Yeah, you're just
It
gonna
was
say that. Yeah,
great.
okay. The sass back and forth is so funny.
No, it's so good.
Sometimes
Yeah,
it's delivered subtle, sometimes it's in your face, but it's constant, and it's just
yeah.
it's such a fun dynamic between all
Well,
of
it's
them.
like when Rio arrives and everything like that, and they're walking down the road and everything. It's fun because Aubrey Plaza's just she's just dancing down the road, having fun, just doing her thing, and then the other three, Lilia, Alice, and Jen, are all back there like going, I don't know if I like her or not, but at the same time, like I want to have her phone number,
Yeah, yeah.
and so it's this like they like her but don't like her, and then like she turns and kind of like just sneers at them or whatever like that, and they're just like, yeah, no, she's weird. So
But I think they
Lilia
liked that she
just
had an issue with Agatha.
yeah,
Right.
yeah, yeah,
They
that's
were
what
like,
Lilia said. She was like, she doesn't like Agatha, so that's a pro.
that's good.
so
So good.
so yeah.
I mean, yeah, the enemy of my enemy is my friend, right?
Yeah.
It was
And so
just
like all the sass between all of them is like it's so good. It's like it's constant. It's like it's brutal. It's biting
yeah.
at times.
I mean, they go
It's
for the
like,
throat sometimes, yeah.
oh, they really do.
Uh, but the whole so like yeah, so they have to figure out how to like break this curse, and we find out that the curse or the spell was actually it was the witch's road. Her there was Alice's mom's version of the witch's road. It was actually a protection spell
Yes.
for Alice. So this is sort of like our kind of climax of the episode is like they have to do a version of the Witch's Road, which I've been jamming to this version of the Witch's
Right.
Road. This is
That's
my
funny.
favorite out of the because we get obviously we have the chant at the beginning.
I
We have
really like the one in the first what is it, the second episode? I think it is.
the one that they're all singing or the one
Yeah, the one that they all sing in the like to get to the Witch's Road.
yeah,
That
the
one was
chant
I
version's
really like
great.
that version. Yeah, yeah.
There's the opening credits version, I think. There's like so
Yes.
and now we have this like 70s rock version. I was, well, again, spoilers for the 80s episode, but I was hoping we'd get like an 80s pop version of
Yeah.
this song, but we did not.
Yeah. Not yet anyway.
Not yet, not yet. Maybe we'll get something. That would be cool. But yeah, no, but we'll talk about that when we get to episode 5. But yeah, they're jamming out. They're all, they've got their instruments. They're rocking out.
Yeah.
It's fun. This is, and then we get like one of the coolest creatures we've had in the MCU, which
Oh
is
yeah.
this curse
Yeah.
demon is so. I mean, we
Yeah.
saw it in the trailer. Now I almost wish we didn't get it in the trailer.
I didn't even remember it from the trailer, honestly. So, but yeah, so seeing it in this episode was just like, wow, this is actually really good effects.
really
So,
creepy. I mean, yeah, it's all
yeah,
practical.
yeah,
Majority of the show is supposed to be practical. There's a few
yeah,
CGI here and there, but like
but
a
they
lot of
largely are doing practical. Yeah.
largely doing practical makeup effects. Things like the Witch's Road is all physical. It's like it almost feels like a Wizard of Oz set. Like
Hmm.
it's so cool the way they've driven it. But yeah, so we get this demon, and then they're performing the song and sort of keeping the demon at bay, and then we kind of get this final. I kind of love it. It's sort of because they're casting a spell together
Yeah.
through music, and it's not your typical MCU beat 'em up kind of moment.
Right.
You know,
No, and I mean that just goes into, both this and the original, how they get to the road, taking music, and because music is magical, so that's taking it into its most literal form like that, and using music as magic is
oh
just
yeah,
it's fantastic. It's just really, really good way of like putting it out there, and showing people that that's the power of music can do great things. So
it's transformative. It's great, and I mean, there's so
yeah.
much history tied to music and witchcraft.
Hmm. Right.
There's such a linkage there, especially when we talk about like sharing stories and like how history is passed on, right? It's often through uh, spoken word or music, right? So
Right.
yeah, it's people who are sort of like knocking on it for like being partially a musical. I'm like, well, it's kind of know what you're talking
Yeah.
about,
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
Like I'm
like
not like like listen, I'm not a big musical fan, but
Mm.
like if you do it well like this, it works, and you don't even
Right.
really know this is not a musical in any way, shape, or
No,
form.
no,
They're
it's a
using
musical
music as a
performance
story
in a
in a yeah,
thing.
yeah.
You know,
If they were literally singing like, on the witch's road and stuff like that, that might be a little different, but no, they're singing,
right.
one out of every three episodes is not bad. So
No, it's a song being performed. I mean, like literally, yeah, like musicals replace dialogue with music, right?
yeah,
That's
yeah,
what a
yeah.
musical is.
The
They're
musical
not
segment is actually part of the story. Like it
right.
doesn't like it takes place of part of the story rather than being like the music being used as, it's I'm not
Right.
going to explain it correctly, but you should know that for
No,
sure.
it's like
Like if you
like
watch a musical, you know the difference between the two for
exactly. I don't know
sure.
why
A
this is the
perform a
example
different
that's popping up to my head. But I'm thinking like Summer Lovin' in Greece is them gossiping about their summer fling,
yeah,
without them
yeah,
actually like
exactly.
saying, "Oh yeah, me and Sandy hooked up at the beach." They're singing
Right,
about it, right? And
right,
now we know after the song, everyone knows about the beach hookup, right? So
right, right, right.
it's all there, right? So anyway,
Yeah.
yeah, but that's the kind of the funny thing is with like WandaVision, Agatha, honestly, even a little bit of Multiverse of Madness too. Like the MCU, now that they're playing with genre, they're doing things that I think a lot of people who maybe aren't familiar with the comics or aren't familiar with it, like they're now being exposed to a lot of different things that maybe aren't part of
Hmm.
their usual consumption of media, right? Just because
Right.
because comic book characters, even the comic book world is so diverse in how they tell. You have black and white comics, you
No,
have color comics, you have shorts, you have
absolutely.
there's so many variations, right? So
Right. That's why I always argue with people who um say that especially Marvel movies and TV shows are all the same and everything. I'm like, "But you're obviously not watching them then because you
mhm,
can't tell me that every single one of these movies, sure, they might feel similar, but every movie, everything has differing things in it that make it unique and original in its own. Um, and that's what's great about the MCU so far has been really good at doing is that they are trying to bring interesting voices in to help them you know make new and interesting
yeah.
stories.
I mean, you
So
can't put WandaVision and Agatha next to like the Iron Man trilogy and tell me that that's the same thing.
right,
Like you can't
yeah.
like what are you talking about?
Well, even Thor and Iron Man, like, any of
Right,
the
even
Thor
with
movies
that.
versus Guardians of the Galaxy, like, anything, that are similar. Sure, you have similar tones between certain movies and
Hmm.
certain like mini sections of things. There's the whole like, more grounded Captain America, government type stuff going on. And
Yeah.
then you've got the more fantastical stuff with Doctor Strange and, Thor
Yeah.
and all that. So it's just, yeah, that's what I love about the MCU so far is that they were smart enough to kind of start to keep branching out rather than keeping it too
Yeah.
tight.
Do different things.
They,
Yeah. That's how you
yeah,
keep it alive. Yeah. Listen.
I love that they got weird. That's the main thing that they're trying different things
Yeah.
and they're allowing it to get weird.
Oh,
So
absolutely, absolutely. And now they're doing the R-rated stuff. It's like,
yeah, yeah,
we're getting there. I mean,
yeah,
yeah, right. Because now that they have the Netflix shows, I know they're sort of now they're able
yeah,
to. I know they're doing Born Again, Daredevil.
yeah.
That's
Yeah, Daredevil Born Again. Yeah,
that's staying TVMA. I mean, obviously Deadpool was R.
yeah.
Yeah, they're doing So
Yeah. Echo was I
Echo
think
was
TVMA.
TVMA. Yep,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think that was their first
So
one actually under the
yeah, yeah,
Marvel
because it was
brand.
like it was kind of like it was the newest sequel series to the Netflix series. So
Right, right.
so
So yeah, no, but it's so exciting. So we get they defeat the curse. They're free, and I'm trying to remember where it kind of left. So they're back on the road.
yeah, so they get back on the road, and where did they leave off. Um, I can't remember
Was the
exactly
cliffhanger
how
with
that
the
left off.
seven or the seven? No, the seven started.
Seven is the fifth episode for sure.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah,
I
yeah, yeah.
trying to stay as segmented as possible, but it's hard, right? They all tend to bleed together. Yeah, no, I think it just ends. They're able to get back on the road. Obviously, if I'm missing something in the comments, you all can just correct me.
Yeah.
Not afraid of little corrections here and there.
So yeah, so I guess it says as the coven leaves the house, they notice the teen had been severely wounded by the demon. Back on the road, they tend to the wound. And then that's when they Rio tells Agatha that Teen is not her son. That's where we
Hmm.
left it off.
Oh, that's
So
right. That's
because there's a
right.
moment where Teen and Agatha have a moment, and Agatha, it feels like, she's the reason why she's, keeping Teen around, and even though she's kind of, rude to him and everything, she still is, um, she still, it seems like she's got a closeness to him, and so, but that's when Rio tells her that she's not his son.
Yeah.
So,
And so we get this
and
little
that
like
kind of,
little gut punch, right? Sort of,
yeah,
teeing up a little bit of the emotional vision that she had from the
yeah,
previous episode with the dark hold and the crib and the crying, and leaving us sort of that, because I know that was sort of a big theory too, is that if Teen isn't Billy, then Teen might be Nicholas. Um,
yeah.
and certainly Agatha here is hoping that he is.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Because she doesn't, because like she tells Teen at one point, because Teen asks about the sigil that's put on him, and she says, nobody would know who it was that put it on you, not even the witch who did put it on you. That's kind of the problem with it. So,
Right,
is
right.
that,
Just
you know,
everybody.
yeah, it basically nobody can know exactly who you are. So, and the only time that you don't, the only time the sigil can be gotten rid of is when it's no longer needed.
Yeah.
So,
Very similar to, I mean, not exactly the same, but it made me think of Peter Parker a little bit, and where we've left him in the MCU.
yeah,
It's sort of
yeah,
like no one knows who he is anymore.
yeah, yeah,
That's a
which is
very,
heartbreaking.
but
Yeah,
yeah, oh, man, that's hard though. All right, so that's our episodes 3 and 4 recap of Agatha All Along. I think we've covered them
yeah.
all.
I think we covered most of it.
We
I
covered
think
all.
we danced around it, but yeah, we got there.
Danced around. That's cool. Well, I mean, maybe we sang around it, we jammed, we danced around the
There you
witch's
go.
road around it. Yeah, that
We
was fun.
played a little jazz around it. That's what it was. It was kind of like more
Little
free
jazz.
form.
Yeah. Well, are you enjoying Agatha? Let us know. Don't forget to like,
Yeah.
subscribe, comment, chat with us about the show. I'm loving it so far. I think, Rob, I think you are.
Oh yeah. Oh, I'm absolutely loving it. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's fantastic. I'm
Uh,
enjoying it very much.
yeah, and next week, so we're gonna be a little bit like a week behind, but then we're gonna catch right up. So next week there's gonna be an episode on episode 5, and then the following week we're gonna do 6 and 7 together, and then 8 and 9 is a two-part finale anyway, so that sort of works. Those will be week of as well. So
Right.
until then, don't get lost on the witch's road, and we will see you next time. Bye.
Bye.